Episode 7. Welcome everyone to another episode of Dang Good
Dang
Advice.
good advice.
Oh, sorry, I just slammed my book on the table, but it's all right. Today, we have a special guest that we have mentioned on our last podcast. Like, we want to invite female onto the podcast.
Oh,
Give
And our very first guest of the show.
Oh, indeed.
First ever.
Yeah. And she's pretty famous.
Very famous.
Yeah, she's pretty famous, man. If you have watched the RAA advertisement,
And was it SA Water as well?
SA Water.
SA Water. Yeah.
You got my whole CV sitting in front of you right there.
I'm feeling the pressure right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling pressure, man. Yeah.
Maybe when people listen back to this in the future, maybe then it will be true. But right now, famous is a relative term.
Either way, Kanan, I want to welcome you onto the show. So glad to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good to be here.
Come on.
Oh, it's fun.
Andy, what are we talking about today?
All right. We're going to resume topic of friend zone.
Part 2.
Part 2.
You talked about part 1 in episode 6. Now
Yes.
it's part 2
Yeah.
of the friend zone. It's such a deep topic.
And I'm surprised. There's a lot of
A lot.
listeners that listen to the podcast on the topic friend zone. Yeah, probably this is like a very hot topic that everyone
It is
wants.
such a hot topic. It's one that's debatable,
It is.
but it's universal at the same time.
It is.
Kidan, did you listen to part 1 of Friend Zone?
I did listen to it before I came.
And what are your thoughts? Just in summary, what are your thoughts?
in summary? In summary, I think it's hard to summarize
Oh.
such a interesting experience I had in listening to said podcasts. In summary, I think that people make their opinions based on experiences that they have had that may or may not be
That's a great segue.
that may or may not have affected their opinion,
Unliking
and
where you're
maybe
going
it's
with the
not
thought
objective.
process. How about we summarize some of the main points of part 1, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Apparently, yeah, true. Apparently, before we proceed to summarizing it, Gillian was very happy today. He came into the door before the podcast happened and was like, "Dude, I figured it out. I figured
got
the
it.
formula, man.
I've got it.
I've got it." And I was like, "What do you got? Like, give me a pen and paper."
Yeah, I was like, give me pen and paper right now. I've got it written down. I can do it.
And he actually written down like this diagram.
Well, I'll put together a diagram
Yeah.
of the friend zone.
Yeah, we're gonna put it onto the show notes, and I reckon everyone needs to go into the show notes and look at it.
Definitely
this time
have a
around.
look.
Yeah.
Definitely have a look.
Something recently happened that spawned this in you.
Yeah.
Seeming very fresh or
Well, I listened to it again on the way here and I was just collecting my thoughts and I'm like, I'm almost there. I've got the definition in my head, but it's not quite there. And I started thinking about it and this diagram came up in my mind right now. And it's coming up onto our Instagram and all that kind of thing, but I'm very happy of it. So how I could describe the friend zone, right? In part 1, we talked about a safe zone where one person or the two people can operate and they're just getting to know each other for who they are. And you can get out of that place and you can form a relationship from that place. So how I depicted in part 1, I said there's the friend zone and then there's the safe zone. But then after collecting my thoughts, I realized that the friend zone is a lot vaster than that. The safe zone is actually inside the friend zone. So let me explain a little bit more, right? So there are levels and tiers to the friend zone. And how I say the friend zone is right at the start, you have the safe zone. And if we go down the diagram, you have the danger zone, which is a bit bigger. Then you go deeper into the friend zone, you have the simp zone. And we talk,
okay, I see. This goes from right to left.
Yes, this is the
Okay,
deep.
okay,
I'm really
I
confused.
see the arrow. I thought normally diagram is like from left to right.
Yeah. Yeah, but like this is going deep, right? We're going deep, right?
Dude, but it's still like left to right. It's not.
It's the opposite because
I think
this
you'll
is
see when you see the diagram, or maybe we'll correct it.
Yeah. Can you draw like a proper arrow so that when
So
people
you can
look
see-
at it, people don't
you're
get
going
that
deep.
arrow there.
There's an
That's
arrow
a
right
small
there.
arrow there.
There's an arrow, right?
You'll see what we
Well, when we say
soon
you're
enough.
deep in the friend zone, you're thinking backwards, right? You're deep in the friend zone. If you want to go forward, you're going towards a relationship.
All right. That's
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yes.
you're saying that this right to left was intentional.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
And you're going with that.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Hence, I think that you need to like label. We're gonna improvise the diagram on the fly, right? You're gonna write like this relationship on this spot.
You want to? Okay, we got a
Yeah.
relationship. All right, let's do this. Love, right? There's a love heart right there.
And
There's
just draw a
love,
heartbreak
right?
on the
And oh, you know what? That's great. I love that. Heartbreak right there.
Oh dear.
This is my diagram. So let me give you a little bit more of a definition. So the safe
let's
zone
dig
is what we
in.
talked about, where a couple of people could be there and there's maybe a little bit something there. Maybe they don't know. They're just getting to know each other. And it's a place where you can just get to know the person for who they are. But there's a place of point of no return.
Uh-huh.
So if you go deeper,
Mm-hmm.
you're in the danger zone. Now,
Cool.
I'd say the majority of people are in the danger zone.
What's this
right?
danger zone?
This is all the friend zone. The danger zone is where one party knows that they are interested. The other person is interested, but they're not interested at all. So
Okay, hold on.
yes,
In the safe zone, can
Yes.
that not happen? So if that happens in the safe zone, that's when it becomes the danger
no,
zone.
they could know that they're interested,
But
but
they both have to be interested. Is that what you're saying?
no, they don't.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
maybe
okay.
one person's interested, the other person's like, oh,
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
maybe.
Okay.
So they're still trying to figure it out.
All right.
But then the moment that one person is like, I'm not interested, right? You're in the danger zone. And they come along for like, okay, they're
So
pursuing-
essentially, safe zone
Yeah.
it's like how we defined previously. Am I correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Like,
exactly.
If you realize that you like a person,
Yeah.
and if you don't like the person, and you just cut it off immediately.
I'd say you and Addie was in the safe zone. I'd say
Okay.
James and Georgie were in the safe zone.
All right.
Really?
James kept himself in the safe zone so that
Okay.
he could be in a relationship.
All right.
Okay.
But then
Okay.
there's a point of no return
Sure.
where one person's like, nah, no way, not interested. But the other person keeps on coming along, and that the person who is not interested is like, yeah, but he or she's a nice guy. I'm just going to keep around, that kind of thing. But it's never going to happen.
So
It's never gonna
when they
happen.
keep the person around,
Yes, keep
so
the
that's
person
where the
around.
danger zone comes in.
Yep, you're in. Yep, that's right. But then there's another extreme to that. You go deeper, and this person just knows for a fact I can get whatever I want out of this person. So, yeah, sure, buy me an iPhone for my birthday. I don't mind. Yeah, for sure, do that. Yeah, for
You've
sure.
been buying people iPhones. For their
Hey, I have
birthday.
friends
Yeah.
that buys iPhone for the girl just to impress her.
Can I meet these friends?
I'm pretty sure you don't want to meet these kind of friends.
So that's
I don't know.
That's the simp zone. The simp zone, right? Where you have one party just willing to chew that person's food for him, willing to do anything, and that other person's like, for sure, you can do that.
Can
no
I
worries.
just ask the historical origins of the word simp?
I actually don't know the historical.
Does any?
Yeah.
It's
Where's the
quoted
simp
by
come
James
from?
William Harris.
Ah, I see. So
no,
you-
it's actually a term. It's a term out there.
Yeah, I learned it from
Interesting.
Gil's. Gil's learned it from like James, right?
sounds like this
Yeah.
is a job for Urban Dictionary.
Yes, please bring it up. Did we
Continue.
break down the word
I
simp
actually-
last time?
I actually did. I actually posted on my show notes.
Right.
Just
Oh, great.
yeah, give me a second. I'm
It's a
just
simp.
gonna log into my show notes, and then yeah.
I don't recall it being on there. That's all. I remember it being said. I'm like, and then I rewound it, and I was like,
What
"Can I
does that
still
mean?
hear this?"
Yeah.
No, it still just appeared. This
Yeah,
word.
that's why you go into the show notes. That's why we mentioned the show notes.
Hey, I don't have Instagram. Wait, this isn't on Instagram.
It's
is it?
on a web page.
Ah, you didn't send me a web page.
Wow.
How am I supposed to know you're so organized?
Okay, fine. You know.
Now I know, and now we can all look at the show notes on the website.
All right. So in Urban Dictionary, the word is called simping.
Okay.
So it's when you infatuate over a woman. It's so gender biased.
To the guy.
Yeah, to the guy, man. Like
Yes.
Urban Dictionary, you gotta step up, man. Yeah.
How do you know it's urban? Maybe it's just men. Maybe men made the word and men have put it for themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
Let's not blame the people just yet when we don't have the
But
full
would you
picture.
would you agree that it happens to both parties? Though?
Yeah.
Boy or girl, you can be in the friend zone.
I feel like
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I personally don't know any women who'd go that far, but I think it looks different. I think the idea of it is the fact that you go overboard to give people things,
yeah.
whether that be monetarily or like emotionally or that kind of stuff. It's like it's a broader concept. It's
Yeah.
a broader idea of
Yeah,
like just
but-
giving more than you need.
but I can tell you this,
Exactly.
man.
Trying to get the attention of that person.
but I
Yeah.
can tell
and
you
the
this.
approval.
I know of people that does this. And I know of like friends of friends that still like accept money from like said
That's bad.
people.
They're still accepting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing? Once, when I was 14,
Yes.
okay, someone bought me a Christmas present.
Oh,
Okay, I knew that they liked me
Yes.
because something happened, and basically I got accosted and brought over after school one day, and all his friends were like, he didn't say anything, but all his friends were like, "Hey, Kidan, such and such likes you," and I was like, "Cool, great. Are you done now? Can I leave?" And then they were, and then I left. Right, so I knew that this was a thing.
You know, it was something that's happening.
But with this guy and I weren't really friends. Like, we talked about certain things like academics and that kind of stuff. And I think that kind of stuff. But anyway, Christmas comes and he apparently buys me a present. And like, it was my class's job to put out all the bins in middle school. So we did in home group. So we went and did that. And when I was putting out the bins, he came and he gave me a box of Ferrero Rocher chocolates. And I didn't know what to do because firstly,
Yes.
Just say thank you.
no,
Because it's a Christmas present.
but you
It's a
just said.
Hey, wait. I have to justify this. Like, if people buy stuff for you for Christmas or any other
But
occasion,
it wasn't Christmas. He just gave me the chocolate.
but you say it's
Oh.
Christmas present.
it was around
Oh.
Christmas. It was in the shape of a star.
So-
It doesn't make it
so
a
you-
Christmas
Nah, that's
present.
not a Christmas present.
Ah.
Thank you, Gillian.
That's not a
So you
Christmas
would-
I
present.
can't believe I'm agreeing
yeah,
with you
yeah.
first in the show.
So you shouldn't.
That's
just
a guy
mention-
shooting his shot.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
a guy
He's
shooting.
shooting his
He's
shot.
shooting his shot.
Yeah, then you shouldn't mention it was a Christmas present. Then.
So did
Yeah,
you?
because it was around Christmas and I was just trying to.
Yeah. See, I got thrown off because he said Christmas
Okay,
present.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
It wasn't a Christmas
Yeah.
present. It was around Christmas.
Around
and I think
Christmas.
in my head, I'm just like, it's around Christmas.
It definitely
I'm
wasn't
gonna-
Christmas.
But I didn't know what to do because, like, at the time, actually, not at the time, people just don't approach me like that. So I just went, I don't like Ferrero Rochers. And I went to give it back.
Savage.
But it just walked away.
You walked away.
Looking real sad. So then I came back to class holding these chocolates. I'm like, I don't know what to do with them because I don't like Ferrero Rochers.
You seriously don't like it?
No, I
my
actually
goodness.
So
didn't. I
do you
wouldn't eat
remember
them.
what the guy's reaction was to you
Actually-
saying I don't like them, but then you took them and you walked away?
Well, I didn't take them. I tried to give them. I moved my hand in a gesture to give it back to him, and he just looked at them, looked at me, and kind of like backed away and walked off to take his bin.
Oh,
That's
Then
that's
I went
rough.
back to
hello,
class.
darkness, my old friend.
Oh. I went back to class and I put it down. I'm like, why didn't? And I went to my friends. I got so angry because I'm like, did you guys know he was gonna do this? Why didn't you tell me? And then they were like, yeah, I didn't think you would. I know, and it was just a mess. And then so I went. The first lesson I had was maths, and we split up for different maths in like if there was your own maths class, and then there was the top maths class, and I went off to the top maths class.
Of course, top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought
throw
I'd-
it out. Just cheeky flex.
It was cheeky flex.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he was also in this top math class, but I don't know where he was at the time. Or maybe he wasn't. I can't remember. Anyway, I went off, and when I walked into class, all these people from my class, because they just had maths in their own class, came up to the window because it was right next door and started banging on the window, being like, Kidan, what did you do? And I'm like, oh, he must be upset or something. And everyone in my class is like, what's going on, Kidan? I'm like,
The guy was
oh,
in
someone
tears.
just bought me a box of chocolates and I just tried to give it back. And I didn't understand why it was so wrong. So then I put on like, I came up with a plan, and at lunch, I took the chocolates that I still had over, and I like had one of the Ferrero Rochers.
Okay.
I'm like, I didn't like. Actually, I told my friend to eat one of the Ferrero Rochers so I could bring the empty packet back. I'm like, I don't like Ferrero Rochers, but I tried one and they're really good. Thank you for the present.
Wow.
And then
It's
I
like-
gave the rest
That's
to my
like-
brother.
Oh my goodness, you're like adding salt to the wound.
So you're like, thanks, buddy. Tap
Yeah.
them on the
Yeah.
shoulder.
I didn't know what to do.
So, like, to summarize that story, you weren't interested at all.
No, not at
Yes.
all.
All right.
So, what do you feel?
But what I
like-
mean, this
Yeah.
is coming back to the point
Yes.
of like the simp zone business.
Yes.
This person gave me these presents. I didn't want the present.
Yep.
But like I also tried to give it back and he got even more
So,
upset.
Andy-
so I just accepted the present because clearly that was better for him.
My
So
question for you,
point
Andy.
is-
Kidan accepting chocolates.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Well, she was shoved with chocolate. She
Mm.
did not really accept it. So I think that was kind of foul play in a sense. Like, okay, I think for instance, like if I want to give something to Addie
Yeah.
and she doesn't want it, but I insist to give it to them. Wow, this is a gray area. Now
You
I
don't
think
know.
of it, like I'm confused. This
Kenan,
is
I
the
think
gray area.
you taking the chocolates. I think it's fine because it's the first time.
Yeah.
It took you by
Okay, so
surprise.
if he gave me more chocolates,
Yeah,
You
and
didn't have
then
to say no.
and then I tried to give him back, and he did the same thing. What? So I should further insist to give back these chocolates that he clearly just wants to give to me.
I guess like there are a few extreme ways that you can do it. Like just chuck it in the bin in front of him.
That's
That's so savage, man.
That's so
Oh my
savage.
gosh. Kenan's like looking right directly at him and gone,
I mean, I would 100% do it,
I mean, like,
but it just seems a little bit too
Andy,
far.
that's savage.
well, if you want to like show the guy that say, hey, like you say, like it's not the first time. So like, if you're going to give me again and you know that I don't like it, I'm just going to like just chuck it away.
Okay, what if he gets me different chocolates that I do like, but I still try to give them back because I understand this whole simp zone business
Yeah.
you guys keep,
All right.
advocating for.
So on the last episode,
Mm.
I mentioned that, you guys need to be mature enough to talk things out. So
yeah, I was.
if
14.
yeah,
They're 14.
Yeah.
yeah, you're 14. So
But we're adults.
Yeah.
now we are adults. So let's don't put it on as like 14-year-old contact and all that because
But this
it's very-
happens like in real life anyway.
All right.
So people will do this at
Yeah, I'm gonna
university,
say this,
people will
like,
do this
kids-
in high
True,
schools.
it's true.
Kids, if you're listening to this, probably not because this is an explicit like podcast.
Oh, is it explicit?
Explicit.
Yeah, because I say I throw a lot of
Hey,
S
Amy's,
bombs
Amy's the only one that curses on this.
Hey, in Malaysia, this is not cursing, okay? You just need to justify, okay? Anyways, yeah, if you're a kid and you have been harassed by guys that you don't like,
I wouldn't call this harassment. Let's,
Yeah,
not, let's not take it too far.
okay, let's not take it too far then. If it's not harassment, if a guy is like persistent in like giving you gifts, you can always tell your parents, right?
I don't know what kind of. You're a grown adult. You're going to talk to your
No,
parents.
like 14 years
He's
old.
saying, he said,
Okay,
if you're
14
years
kids,
old, you can tell your
he's
parents.
just giving the kids like
Yeah.
some
Kids.
rounded advice
Yeah,
until we
but-
go on to the adulthood.
Yeah,
part.
sure.
But
But
if-
I think you handled yourself right in that context there, because afterwards he got the picture, right? He knew that you weren't interested after that.
Yeah,
He did.
I guess he did. I mean,
did.
his first mistake was trying, really.
Oh,
Wow, savage man.
Well, when they told me, I was really uninterested. It
The
was
brother shot
very
his shot.
obvious.
He shot his shot.
He shot his shot.
and he fell short.
I give him that.
I say shoot your shot. Well
shoot
done.
your
Yeah.
shot for sure, but you know,
Yeah.
make
Kudos
sure you
for
don't
that
get your
effort.
friends to shoot your shot
Yeah.
for you.
Oh no, you don't do
Nah,
that.
you
no,
don't.
no.
Like, come on, people. Just if you're gonna front up by yourself.
You heard it from the lady. Yeah.
So, Kanan, what do you think of this definition of the friend zone? Do we
Wait,
agree?
wait. Before
Oh.
that, we haven't
Okay,
kind of
alright.
we got off
All right,
topic.
all right.
Yeah, we did. I told a
Yeah,
story.
yeah. We haven't like defined simping.
All right, let's
Yeah,
define
sure,
simp.
sure.
Yeah. So simping works in hold on. I'm just not simping, the meaning of simping comes in when you infatuate over a woman, allowing them to take over your mind and cause you to do things for them that you wouldn't normally do.
Uh-huh.
Okay, in this said situation, it's like, friend, I'm gonna have to leave this game. I want to see what Anne is doing tonight now. And the boys reply, "You're simping, bro."
I get it. Okay.
So that's what the Urban Dictionary tells us.
Good old Evan.
So
That's what we need.
So in your case, right,
Uh,
it's not really simping because like I think it's just the boy, like what we
Shooting
call
a shot.
yeah, shooting a shot.
yeah, but like, see, this is what I was saying before in terms of this quote unquote simp zone or simping, is that it's not always about like giving gifts. Like,
No,
and that's why we were talking about this, like,
Yeah.
accurate, and women would be able
Yeah,
would do it
true.
too,
It's
because
not
it's
just-
about about sacrificing things that you wouldn't normally sacrifice.
I
to
think it
people
would be
who
like a
aren't gonna give you anything
continuous
back.
effort of doing that.
Mm.
And also it requires the other party to accept the effort.
I think it's the one party manipulating the person to get.
Yeah.
that
Really?
needs-
Because that's not what I get from that definition.
Yeah.
No, because like because him or anyone doing something, because in the what does it say? I'm gonna have to leave this game. I want to see what Anne is doing right now. Anne doesn't there's no version of Anne being like, yeah, you can come, old mate, friend, or whatever this person
Oh, mate.
So Anne's not being like, hey, come over. This guy is gone, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave this game to see what they're doing. She doesn't even know.
Maybe
She's
Anne
not
text-
accepting anything.
Maybe Anne
he
texted the
goes.
boy previously and said, hey, I'm going to this party later.
Yeah, but according to this definition, it's not necessary for it to be called simping. That's all I've got to say. It's like, yes, that can be involved, but in you can simp without someone, giving consent.
You can sip without the person knowing.
That's what I mean. Like,
So
what if
the-
he rocks up to this place and then Anne's just like, why are you here?
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh, I just wanted to see what you're doing. And she's
Definitely.
like,
Okay.
all right,
yeah, yeah.
cool.
Okay,
And then
okay.
continues on with her way.
I agree with that. Yeah, totally. I agree with that. So,
Yeah.
like, Anne could be completely oblivious of it, but this
Well,
one part.
or maybe
party
she
just,
is. Okay, yeah, she can be completely oblivious.
But
to
then
it.
this one
Mhm.
party is just like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I'd do anything for her. You know?
But like,
But the other part, but Anne doesn't reciprocate.
yeah, Anne may not reciprocate or may not like manipulate the situation for her gain.
Yes,
because I
okay.
think it's a separate thing. I think
Totally.
it's very important to
Okay.
define the difference between like when someone does that and then when that other party then takes advantage of what that person's doing. And I think that is
Yes.
separate to the conversation. That's just a bad
That's
person.
another. That's
Yeah.
another level of simping.
Like, it's just- it's just-
We need to
we can
add
do
an
another
extra-
diagram if you want.
No, it's just people being like,
Yeah.
that's a horrible person. That is someone who's
Totally.
taking advantage
It's really
and
bad
manipulating another
because I have
person.
this friend that dated a girl. So the girl apparently it's like some sort of an influencer. So what happened was the girl was accepting like favors, like someone gave her a ticket to artist concert
Mm,
and gave her like hotel bookings as well.
yeah.
And she went without telling the boyfriend.
Okay.
And then the boyfriend found out. And on prior to the breakup,
Mm,
the boy
mm.
found out even more stuff. One of them was the girl was driving a car. So the car was actually paid by the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend,
Yeah.
like installments. The ex-boyfriend is still paying the installments. So I think it's pretty common in
Get out there,
Malaysia.
brother. Get out of there.
Oh, they're already out of it. Like, yeah. But it's just like, yeah, I'm very surprised when I hear those stories. And it's not just one case. Like I have
For
a
sure.
few friends and few mutual friends that I know of that's going through this situation as well. So I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a pandemic.
It's a pandemic.
It's worse than COVID.
Well, I think it's just like, it's one of those things, isn't it? Because like I feel like in those situations, the guy by doing that stuff should just be like, you just need to stop.
yeah,
I feel
And then
bad
the
for
He needs
girl,
to
you just need
realise.
to not manipulate.
actually
the
feel
situ- or
bad
take
for the guy.
advantage.
I agree.
I actually feel bad for the guys just because when they do that and somehow in certain ways, the girl kind of like, even the girl like doesn't really accept it. They
Mm.
feel like if I work harder, I might achieve that goal someday.
That's what the guy's thinking.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking like on one of my old relationships before.
Mm.
Remember the one that I talked about last
Yeah, yeah,
episode?
yeah.
If I always be the good guy there and I try my best to be by her side all the time, I probably can show her that I'm actually an angel.
It's such a paradigm, right? Because the more that you do that, the deeper you go in the friend zone.
Oh yeah.
This just leads me to my much larger, much bigger issues with the friend zone
Yeah.
in its entirety.
Okay, explain.
Oh, where do you begin?
Just begin. Begin.
Well, I just think the friend zone is absolute poppycock.
Oh, I love it.
Like I can discuss it with you on your level
Yeah.
if you want to. If
Wow,
I want
on
to
our
speak in
level.
your
On
On your
language.
primitive level. That's what I feel like.
I just mean that like I can talk in your language. That's very easy for me.
Okay.
Of your friend zone language. But then at the end of the day, I don't believe in it.
Okay. I'd like to hear why. Why don't you believe in the friend zone?
Because I just like, do you know what it is? It's because I've never. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So I will strongly say, in my perspective, I've never put anyone else in the friend zone. However, I think you'll get people who would tell you that I have. Because I think that those people put themselves there. I
That's
think
what
the
Ed
friend
said.
zone is not
That's
something
what
you
that's
put on
why I
someone
say.
else.
That's what I say.
Oh, I totally believe
Yeah,
you. I
yeah.
totally believe you. But I mean, the friend zone in the context of what we all talk about is not what it is. I don't think it exists really. I think it's a state of mind that people put themselves in of like, oh yeah, I'm never gonna get. It's just stupid. I just think it's just you make it up. Not like you make it up. It's just that you put yourself in this idea that you go, oh yeah, like I'm never gonna be here. Because I tell you right now, I will never date you if I'm not your friend.
Okay.
Like as in, I might never is a strong word.
I get you.
But like,
you want to know who that person is.
No, and like I won't be able to be serious with you until I know you intimately. Not intimately. Like as an intimate is a very broad spectrum word. let's just reduce the broadness of that, what that is. I just mean unless I know you really well.
I totally
Yeah.
get you.
Yeah,
For me, I agree with that as well because that's why I meant like you put yourself in the friend zone just because it's just a state. Like for instance, like if you're a friend and then you try to express your interest to another person,
Mm.
and then if the person rejects you, and then a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm in the friend zone," because she say that I'm just a friend, yeah, or I'm just a brother, all that kind of statement. So yeah,
I just get
Could
so
I say,
Oh,
Kiran?
yeah, go.
I would think that then therefore it's the safe zone.
No.
It's
No.
not?
No, it's not the
So
same.
but you guys are
There
friends.
people.
You
No,
guys are friends,
there are people.
but you're not dating. But it's a place where you guys can get to know, in your words, intimately, but not intimately, but just get to know each other.
But then what if I determine after I get to know them a little more,
and you still don't like them.
and I'm like, oh, I will never like them.
Well, that's fine.
In that way.
Then they'll just be friends, right?
But then what about this danger zone that you speak of?
So it's in danger zone in terms of the other party.
Okay, but so then what's the other party going to do if I'm just like, yeah, I'm never gonna date you, but I'd like to be friends. So
Well,
what does the other party do then?
I think,
it's,
in, I
well-
think in that sense, right? I think in that sense, the person, okay, let's say if someone likes you,
Yeah.
and you already like express your
Oh, my
disinterest on
diagram's
them,
going deeper.
and you express your disinterest on that person,
Yeah.
and if the person insists, I guess like you can't just be friends anymore because it's not a healthy relationship.
Well, but then that's not. But like, but that's so unfair because like, what if I want to? What if they're like, I have people in my life, well, not people in my life, people I've been, I'm really close friends with, and they really liked me, and like, yes, it's their responsibility. It's their own responsibility to take themselves out of that situation if they can't be friends with me with the feelings that they have being unreciprocated. That's their responsibility to deal with that.
Yes,
Yeah,
not
I
mine.
agree.
Yes.
But that is a really sad thing for me because I genuinely value their friendship as a part of my life.
Yeah, but if you really value the friendship, you know that you can't be there because your presence there, it's enabling the
No,
person.
no, okay. Oh man, this is good. See, what I'd say, if you're in the safe zone, right? I've added a new part to it. Right? Your mates.
Subcategory mates.
if you're in-
arrow towards love.
Yeah, no, this is that right? It's different.
Sorry, it's
So
on a different timeline, everyone.
if
You're not on
you
the
guys-
relationship timeline anymore.
so many different layers. But if
Hughes
you guys,
just, Hughes just want to try to prove that his safe zone is like a legit term that can be used.
the safe zone. So you guys are in the safe zone, right? But then if, say, for example, hey, we're
Mm.
just friends,
Mm.
I think it's fine to be friends because he hasn't passed the point of no return.
What's the point? But see, I still don't find this point of no return dictated to me.
So but like if you guys are operating in that place there where you're just getting to know each other, things like that. Say, for example, he
Mm.
goes, hey, Karan, I like you. And it's like, hey, look, to be honest, I'm not feeling it.
Mm.
That's fine. You guys can be friends.
Yeah.
That's no problems. But it's up to him. Because then if he starts going, down in the dumps and stuff, and he still continues to like
Express
infatuate
himself.
you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he continues to do all
then
those like
that's on
tiny,
him. That's not on you.
yeah.
That's on him.
Yeah.
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 So I think, but then,
But what Kidan meant is
Yeah.
she feels upset because she appreciates a friend.
yeah.
But I'm like, I say that's like my feelings. That's my feelings for it. But I'm very good at like, I understand what it.
But also, I want to like bring
Go.
out a point that I was like saying last
yeah.
episode, right? I say that if one person likes another person, and then like even if you don't confess, it's already an unhealthy relationship because you might not feel anything because you know that you don't like the person, But if the guy likes you, whoever you talk to or whatever you do, even though the guy doesn't express his like interest outright out to you, it's really unhealthy because you'll be having second thoughts. You have like jealousy deep within, but he just never like tells it out just because he's afraid of losing you as a friend.
Mm.
So, in the sense of when you're thinking that I need to protect the friendship, it's on your side, but it's not on his side because like the friendship isn't there anymore. It has already mutated into like a weird kind of dynamic
Mutated
relationship.
is such as
Yeah, I think it's important to talk about. I think it's super important to actually tell someone if you're feeling that way and your friends. And like someone has done that to me once before. And well, it was kind of the situation because I was talking to him about something that happened with this other guy and how I was just like, it was really weird and I didn't like it. And I kind of just felt like it. And it was like, it wasn't the same situation at all. But I said something along the lines of, I just don't know what to believe about what he says because now I just feel like what he said doesn't actually mean anything because, I found out that he like liked me or whatever. And then I said something like that. And then my friend was like, oh, in the moment I didn't notice. I was just ranting about this thing that happened. And then like later, like a week later, he tells me and I was just like, oh. And he was just like, I only told you because you said this and I felt like I was like keeping something from you, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so, but then it was just like, it was just one of the things I'm like, okay, yes, well, now this relationship has to change because you clearly like me a lot.
Mm.
And but that's that. And like, it's not my responsibility to, because I'm a heavy, there are ways that I will live my life, but in a objective point of view, in the grand scheme of things, it's not my responsibility to change anything about what I do.
Mm.
I mean, like, like not as in, if I go, oh, I want to do this or I want to do this, or do you want to see this movie? Things that we were doing before as friends. I shouldn't have any responsibility on me to change those behaviors. It's his responsibility, like, no, I don't want to do that.
So
And I'll
it's
be like,
his
cool.
responsibility to put
Yeah.
the boundaries up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because I'm the person I am, I
Yep.
will just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna change these things and like take this off. And we're not gonna do those situations. Maybe
Because you
it's
have an understanding of,
because I have an
he has
understanding
feelings.
exactly, and also I'm like, I don't want to feel uncomfortable because I don't want to keep thinking about how he might be taking this in the wrong way and that
Yes.
kind of stuff. But I don't think that that's my responsibility. I just choose to do that because
Yeah.
I'm the person I am.
Yeah, like I say, because when someone likes someone else in a friendship, the dynamic is ruined. It's no longer like a genuine friendship. It's just because like everyone acts differently towards people that are infatuated and people that are they like.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm a bit off put by you saying a genuine friendship though.
Why?
I think it's still friendship, like, but it just looks different.
Now the dynamic is different. Like if you
It's still a
okay,
friendship, but
I
it's
think I think it's more intentional in the sense like if you
Oh.
like someone, the way you act and the way you respond is always gonna be slightly biased towards the person.
It's just gonna look different.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
just gonna
looks
look
different,
different.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would say like
so
in the sense of genuine friendship, which means that it's platonic.
Well,
you-
I guess this comes back to the point of like, well, I guess it's all just I guess it's all just personal how you look at friends because I have a very specific
Yep.
idea of what friendship looks like in my life.
Mhm.
And I might subscribe to certain ways of talking about it for other people's sake, but I'm very particular with who I call a friend
Mm.
because it means something to me
Yep.
in
Yep.
like a very specific way.
Mm.
So like this friend that I've just talked about, he's definitely my friend, and I confide in him with a lot of things, and he tells me things.
Yep.
Just in a specific capacity that we've like established, but you know, but and that's why we're friends. But if I'm just like seeing someone, if I'm just like seeing someone like once a week at work or something like that, and we talk at work and we're friendly, they're not. They're friends in the social sense of it,
They're
but like I
probably
don't
more
talk to them about my problems.
acquaintance.
Yeah, it gets a bit icky because it's just like acquaintance is this word that people don't like using because it seems really doesn't seem very like friendly or like
Yeah.
it just seems a bit distancy. But it's just like I don't talk to you about my life.
Mm.
I don't talk to you about like things that I struggle with,
Mm.
and like you don't talk to me about things you struggle with. Like, and that's what friendship is. And that's kind of what I mean about this like friend zone business. Cause I'm just like, well, are you just being friendly to each other, or are you actually friends who confide and like give and take? Because
Mm,
that's friendship.
mm,
This is like that's another reason why the friend zone thing doesn't really make sense to me,
mm.
because I'm just like, well, if you're actually in the friend zone, that should be a very beautiful, like that should be a very like treasured thing to be someone's friend. It means something to give and take from another person and to confide in them and then confide in you. If you're doing that, it gets complicated when one of them when one of like when someone like has feelings for another. Ooh, glass.
Taxi.
Hey.
It gets complicated when one has feelings for another person, but at the end of the day, if your friendship is real, then you're gonna alter it,
Totally.
but it should
Yep.
still be there.
I agree with
It's
that.
not like, but it's like this idea of just like, oh, friend zone, and like they're just friendly to me, and we just do this. It's like, well, actually, are you actually friends? You just people that hang out. I
Mm.
don't know. I just go,
So you're saying if you guys are genuinely friends, where you genuinely care for each other, but then what, like, say the guy in your instance says, "Hey, I have feelings," and then you say, "Hey, I actually don't." You're
mm.
saying preserve that friendship because
Well,
that's still important.
I think it's relative to who you are and what capacity you have to preserve a relationship where you have feelings for them and they don't to you. You have to like, it's case by case.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
but I think if the friendship is important enough to you, you should. And I just think
Yeah.
that think one of my major issues with people going, oh, I'm in the friend zone and I really care about this person and that kind of stuff, and you get annoyed, and not necessarily annoyed about it, or like a lot of the time when people talk about it, it's like similar to like this story you told, but that was just you all giving, even without the added element of you liking her. She was a bad friend.
Yeah.
That's not to me, and like it's not. I'm not saying that's not the friend zone or whatever. I'm just saying like you can't like she's just a bad friend.
Yeah,
So even if
she
you
is.
wanted
Yeah,
to keep her, even if you wanted to, even if you were just like, oh
retain the
yeah,
relationship.
retain. There's no
Yeah.
relationship to retain. You need
All
to get
right.
that person out of your
How
life.
about
They're not
this?
a good
That's a good
friend.
point.
How about this? What if
Mm,
what if the guy
mm,
approaches you, claims that he is a friend,
mm.
and goes all the way being a good friend
Yeah.
and earns your trust, and then you guys like share a lot of stuff,
Mm,
and in the purpose of because he has interest in you.
yeah.
So would that be very intentional? That it's not a friendship anymore, right? Because
Or like from the beginning,
yeah,
he was
yeah,
like
or maybe
interested
like
in you.
halfway through, like it kind of evolves to like,
I don't
I
think that's.
actually like the person, and then um, you start to be more cautious about what you do, or you're more intentional in carrying the person and stuff. Because I see that happen. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think that's I don't see I just don't think that there's any problem in that, because that is how you find someone you love. Like, cuz if you don't get to know someone, whether you've like have some like vague interest in them, cuz like that's how, I mean, actually that's how I operate most of the time. I'll have a vague interest in them, or I have a big interest in them, and I'll just be like, okay, I just want to get to know them because I don't know you very well. So right now that's based on very little information, maybe just what they look like. Who knows? But I just go, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna invest in this in some way. I'm gonna see I'm interested in you, so I'm just gonna see what you're like on just a normal level without any kind of other stuff." That's how you build relationships, whether it be friendship or in love or whatever. That's just how it happens. And I don't think that that's necessarily a I don't think that's a not manipulative, I don't think that's a deceitful way to like begin a friendship or anything like that, because really at the beginning you don't know anything about them, as in you're just interested in that actually means very little. It doesn't you and I could find out in a week that I'm like, oh yeah, this will never happen, but I do like you as a friend and I'm really glad I took the effort to invest in you, and then you just end up being friends. And I have friends like that right now. And like I was very quick go, oh, I'm not interested in you in that way. And he's not interested in me. And we're just friends now. But he doesn't know that I might have been interested in him at the beginning or anything like that. It's just one of those things you go, oh, and because sometimes that interest isn't always about like romantic. Sometimes you're just drawn to people because you just are friends, because at the end of the day, we're drawn to people. And like, that doesn't necessarily always have to be romantic or attached to love or or sex or anything like that. It just is, you know?
Mm,
Gillian is thinking
I'm
deep.
thinking. I think it's very valid.
Yeah,
I think it's fine.
Of course it's
So,
I'm not gonna deny. I'm not gonna like just
So
like
my-
disagree
my-
just because I disagree with any opinion. But yeah, it's
my,
it's a
my,
valid
my
stuff.
question is, would you allow someone to get that close to you, even if you didn't see them, if you just saw them just as a friend? Like, say for example,
Mm,
you would let someone closer to you who you'd probably say, I might be interested, so
mm,
I'll let you in a bit closer.
yeah.
Would you let normal people get that close? If you say, okay, I'm not interested, I'll allow you to come a bit closer.
Like normal people who I'm not interested in
Yeah.
versus people
So
I
like,
am interested in.
say for
Yeah.
example, I guess my question is,
Mm.
do you think attraction can come later?
Yeah, I definitely do. But I just know that that's about me. As in, like, I know a lot of for some people, I think, I think for some people, attraction is very important at the beginning. I, I, I don't have an experience of that.
I think to certain extent it does. Just because like if you're not really attracted in a sense, you wouldn't talk to the person, right?
This is the thing. I've had people in my life that I go, I wouldn't call them attractive.
Mm.
I wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, they're attractive. But then like I've gotten to know really, really well.
And
And
then
for
you become attracted to them?
Yeah, because I think like I have a mix of like, I think I appreciate what people look like the more you get to know them, because it's not just about like, I think being attractive isn't just about like, an objective sense of beauty. It's about, like the nuances in their expression and that kind of stuff that most people won't necessarily normally go, oh yeah, it's this. Like, for example, like Benedict Cumberbatch. People don't think he's attractive, and like objectively, he's not objectively beautiful, but he's got a very individual look.
I do agree on that. Like
Yeah.
he's
I don't
not
know.
like
I don't even know who that is.
oh my goodness.
man,
Dude, you need to
what?
watch more TV.
I don't watch TV. For
I'm
everyone
gonna
out
give
there,
you my next
Gillian,
all
what
I
do you
do-
do with your
you know
life?
what all I do at home, right?
gym.
I don't.
I go home, I
Gym.
stretch, I do my meal prep, I read a book,
Oh my god.
I prepare for the next day, and I'm in bed.
Dude,
That's what I
stretch
do.
can be misleading when you say that, okay? You
Can
need to
it?
be careful of the word choice that you use.
Get
What's
your
wrong with
mind out.
stretching?
Yeah, get your mind out of the gutter, man. I'm just stretching my legs.
What happens in the gutter when you stretch?
Yeah. I'm stretching my legs.
But
I
you
don't
know-
watch a lot of TV. So who is this guy?
He's
Do you have a photo of
Benedict
him?
Cumberbatch.
I don't know who that is.
He was Doctor Strange.
Oh yes, okay.
See, I knew if I
Yeah.
led with a Marvel reference, he'd get it. I was
He's a
going to go
boy.
with something much. I was going to go that he was in National Theatre and
Yeah.
this kind of stuff, but no,
I don't know.
none of
I
that.
don't know.
He's just got a very individual look, but he's not objectively attractive. But it's the way he carries himself that people
But
find
yeah, that's why I
attractive.
meant like attractiveness doesn't come on looks or whatsoever.
No.
I would say like in general, it's a charisma that
It's charisma. Charisma plays a huge
yeah,
part.
yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think like the more you get to know people and like and like their little intricacies, you can kind of you get charmed by those things because they're of them. But it's also influenced by your feelings to them as a person. If you just like keep it individual to like a friend, someone you love as a friend, you go, I love this person. And like I love that I love them when they smile, because I know when they're smiling like that, it means that they like it means that they're shy about the fact that really individual things, and they become very attractive to you in a different kind of way
So
because
would
they're
you-
attached to feelings.
Would you say for a boy or girl out
Yeah.
there that's listening now
Yeah.
and they are interested in someone,
Mm.
would you say operate in a place where you can let that person know who you are
Yeah.
in a place where you're not too aggressive in your approach in, say, shooting your shot is what we say,
Yeah.
but you are expressing exactly who you are as a person.
Yeah. That's exactly.
And then if it happens, great.
Yep.
If it doesn't,
Then you need to know where to pull.
Yeah. For your
you-
own like exactly. You need to know when to pull to like step
Yeah,
away
but there,
for
there are a lot of
yourself.
people out there that doesn't know when to pull their handbrakes. They just
No.
feel like if I try harder, it's just like me when I was younger. Like,
Mm.
you know what? If I just give an ounce more of the effort there, she might probably fall in love with me. Like maybe I've not
And
like
that responsibility is on you, though.
yeah.
That's on
Totally,
you
totally.
to put
Yeah.
the boundary in place.
I learned it the hard way. I know that like
Mm.
I was desperate at the time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
She was
You're
also
simping.
not a good friend.
I agree with that.
I just mean like I mean that was all about
It's
a
all right.
different thing.
It's
but
all
I just
right.
go
Like I'm have not been talking to her for like
So what you're saying,
years, man.
Kidan,
Yeah.
is that if for example you're in that place where you're expressing who you are and you become good friends,
Mm,
and then you express how you're feeling, and that person there doesn't say like reciprocate, you now have the choice of saying, what boundaries do I need to put in place?
100%.
Can this friendship still remain
Mm,
because it's good,
mm.
right? Or the extreme side is saying completely moving yourself.
Yeah.
That's the extreme side.
That's all your responsibility as the person who's just like, well, now like I have feelings and you don't have feelings for me. There's now your responsibility to determine what you're doing. However, you need to communicate with this person that you've now built a relationship with, whether that be romantic or friendship. You've still built something with this person and invested time into them, and they've invested time into you. The only mature thing to do in this situation, not even mature, the right thing to do in this situation is communicate with them and tell them like, I can't, I can't, you know, do the same thing. I just have to reel back a little bit because it's a little bit hard.
Mm.
Because, I would be devastated if someone, and I have been, if someone just goes, yeah, well, I'm moving states. So, and I don't want to talk to you
Mm.
because I feel like I'm ruining your life or whatever.
Mm.
But yeah, I guess it's the same, right? Because like the person that wants to like convey the feelings, it took so much effort to convey the feelings as well.
Mm.
So as a friend that doesn't like the person, I think it's fair enough for the person to be honest to say like, hey, you know what? I know that it is what it is,
Mm.
but like here's what we're gonna do. Like if we
But if you do that, you risk the chance of that person who's now just expressed their feelings. If you then, as the other person, go, okay, and take some of that responsibility on, you might send a bad signal and go, I don't want to, because that's part of the vulnerability of telling someone that you feel for them, like that you have feelings for them, is you being scared that that person is now just not going to want to be your friend, or that person is now just going to want to distance themselves from you.
And they might feel like, now I've stuffed it up.
Yeah. So, like, as the other person, you just have to be open to whatever they're ready to do, unless you feel particularly uncomfortable about something.
okay, that goes back into the situation of Gil's like friend zone, right? If the person doesn't know what they are supposed to do, and they feel like, oh, like Kiran just wants to remain as a friend, so that means there's hope for me.
See,
Well, I
but
think that's stupid.
I think yeah,
Hey,
that's a dangerous place to be, because
some people
they're
think
still
like
holding
that.
on to
No, you're
something.
Yeah, some
right.
people think like that.
You're
Like,
right. and they're
totally.
wrong.
That's what I was gonna say, right? So then they would be like, okay, she didn't say no. Maybe we can still continue going down this.
No,
Yeah.
I
And then
said
in-
no.
yeah.
I said no. Okay, let's be
it's
real.
not a firm no. So
You need to, so you
But
need
that's
to
how
do a
guys
firm
think it,
no. Well, I need to be like, no, this
So
will
wouldn't-
never
wouldn't-
happen
wouldn't-
in your whole
wouldn't
life.
you
I think
be
that's
worried-
really immature.
Wouldn't you be worried
Mm-hmm.
of that person's feelings coming up again?
No, as in their feelings may well come up again, but again, it's not my
So you can say no.
responsibility.
And again, the answer is the same thing.
Like,
Nope.
I will just, and that's happened to me before, where and I was younger, so I didn't handle it as well as I could have, but I didn't handle it well. But it happened both times, and I just go, well, I have to just say that
So what happens? What happens, Kiran?
well, the
right?
first time was
Right.
actually like in this particular thing I'm thinking about. The first time I just didn't say anything, so that's on me.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
second time was really just clear. That's fair, but obviously, but this is a thing. I'm not going to say no. It's never going to happen, because what if it does?
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
Like,
So,
people
all right,
change,
let me give
and
a
that they
scenario
become
to you.
someone that I might actually see myself with.
Let me give a scenario too, right?
Yeah.
So you say, hey, look, I really appreciate our friendship.
Yeah.
And I don't think, obviously we're going to put some healthy things in place. And I think we should still be friends, right? And he's like, yep, for sure. But down the line, it comes up
Mm.
and you're like, yeah, nah, sorry, still it's a no.
Yep.
Right? You continue on, right?
Yep.
Another 6 months,
Mhm.
comes back again.
Yep.
No, sorry, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Comes again, another year,
Yeah.
another 2 years, all right?
Sounds like he's. You know what? At
So
this point, I'd be taking him
what are you
aside
gonna
and be like, as a friend, I think you
Yes.
should give up on me and
Wow,
find
yeah.
other people.
I think that's a good
As
thing
a
to do.
friend.
Yeah.
But like it would only but that's because I'm a friend. That's because they're obviously my friend. So I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, this is objectively like just look at me as if I'm not the person that you're clearly in love with. I think if I was hearing you tell me how you keep going back to the scale every 6 months, I'd tell you that you need to look at other options.
But
That's
you
what
do,
I'd say to him.
but you do know that there's friends that no matter how hard you advise them, they'll always come back to the same person.
Yeah, well, then that's their responsibility.
So can I? All right, let me continue. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah,
Another year goes by.
yeah.
Same thing.
Well, again, I don't care. Essentially,
So
if they're my
we-
friend, they're my friend, and I care about them, and
So
I'm not going to
then-
cut them out of my
all right,
life.
3 years go by.
Yeah.
All right. And you go on, the guy's going round and round in circles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it healthy to keep in that friendship?
It's his responsibility.
Okay.
It's not, it's not
But do you
healthy
think?
or unhealthy.
But do you
for-
think
it's-
in certain extent, right?
Mm.
Are you enabling him to do that?
No, absolutely not. I think it's I think it's really unwise to talk about like these kinds of situations where you go, oh yeah, you're just enabling that behavior, because I think that is what that does is is take the responsibility off of the person that should actually be doing something to change their situation onto someone else who's not done anything. Why should I have to do the effort for something that you're clearly struggling with? I've done my part as your friend to do something about it. It is not my job to then handle all my stuff and your stuff too. And like also, it's not like this is establishing again that we're in a friendship where
Yes.
there's give and take. I invest, he invests, but it's platonic,
Yeah.
right? That's someone I value. I'm not gonna be the person that like, and it's so much more. I mean, this whole topic is much more nuanced than everyone likes to make it. And that's what I have a problem with, because friendships and relationships, they're all so nuanced, and you just have to you have to take it case by case. You have to see people as people and not as conquests. That is for females, males, people. That's for everyone.
Because
like-
if it's a conquest, is that even a friendship then?
That's what I mean. And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's why I have a larger issue with this, because I think it just perpetuates ideas, not ideas, but it perpetuates like the way of thinking about relationship that is not how we actually do it. Like that is not how healthy relationships exist. I think what the friend zone is a good example of is all things unhealthy in relationships. And I think that like in a friendship, or like in this situation where you're friends and you are giving and taking, there should be, and there is that transparency. I'm not going to cut them out or cut them off. Like I think that wouldn't happen with that person. I think eventually that person would see it. But if it did happen, if it did continue happening, I wouldn't do that. I would be like, this is your responsibility. I'd voice my concerns about what they're doing. I'd be like, look, I don't care. You can confess to me till the cows come home. You could keep telling me you love me for the rest of your life, and I will still be your friend. But I am your friend, and because I'm your friend, I'm concerned that you're not going to find happiness. But I'm not gonna leave, because that's what friendship is to me. That's what being a friend is that's loyalty.
Mm.
And to just be like, oh, it's not enabling, it's their responsibility.
Mm.
Like, and honestly, and it's the same thing with like, if people didn't drink alcohol or something, it's the difference between okay, if like Gillian, do you drink?
I have occasional glass.
You have
here and
occasional
there.
glass, but most of the time you don't normally, right? Yeah. So if you're just like, no, I don't want to drink, and then I start drinking around you, would that be enabling you to drink?
No.
No. But if I was just like, here, I bought you a beer. Here, I'll open it for you. Here, let me put it in a glass. Let me give you a straw. Let me shove it down your mouth. That's enabling.
Yes.
I
That's a great point.
I feel like it's the difference between that, because it's not just like, just because I'm your friend and I'm there, it doesn't mean I'm enabling this behavior and continuing it. I'm not.
But say that person's a struggling alcoholic.
If that's person, but it is their, and then this is where I say it is their responsibility to put themselves in an environment where they feel safe to
So
not drink. So if they said to me, "Hey, could we not drink at this party?" I'd be like, "Cool, yep, we're not going to drink." And if you want to translate that to our example of friendship, like, "Hey, I don't want to go to the movie alone with you. I just feel I'm like, great, we won't go to a movie. We'll bring other people. We'll all come and we'll go out as a group." But it's your responsibility to communicate that,
Mm.
and I tell you because you can't exist even with as going on the alcoholic thing. You can't exist as an alcoholic who's, trying to overcome, that kind of addiction. You can't continue going like, oh, everyone don't drink around me. Everyone like do these things and changing everything, expecting other people to change. Not that they would, but the culture shouldn't be to expect everyone else to stop what they do and their lives so that you feel more comfortable. Not and them having not asked for that.
do you think it would be too extreme for that person to say, I need to completely separate myself?
No, absolutely not. I would respect that as a friend. I'd be like, I understand,
Well,
and I would step away because that's what they need. And if you were a friend, that's what you would do.
So in that case, I guess that's what you meant by it's a heartbreak because you might lose a friend just because
Yeah.
of that system.
Because like
Yeah.
I would still do it. I would still do it 100% without doubt. I think that's a part of the loyalty in friendship and in relationships generally. That's a part of the loyalty. I would still do it. But it would be sad.
Yeah. So what's your take on this, Gills? Like, would you do the same thing?
I think how Kenan has added another element because you are putting it into the situation of two genuine friends and one person says I'm interested, the other person says I'm not. It's now saying, how can we preserve this friendship? Because it's a good thing. But an extreme case is what we're thinking is that, okay, guy pursues, she's not interested, leave, run.
Yeah.
That's an
I
extreme
think
case.
we are just like scratching the tip of the iceberg on the one that we're saying, but Kiran just pulls us into the rabbit hole of like what does friendship really meant, and if
Totally.
that's the case, like how do you define friend zone when it
I
comes to
think
that?
what we have defined now is almost like the conquest kind of situation
Yeah,
that Kanan
yep,
described.
yep.
But the thing is, like every relationship is so individual and
Oh,
has its
totally.
own different factors and different things like that. So what Kanan has put forward is two genuine friends that have been doing life together for some time now, and that one person has shot the shot and it just doesn't like the other person. So what does it look like now? And I would agree in saying that if you genuinely care for each other, you've been doing life for each other. And I think I touched on this last episode. That why do you need to cut that person out? Probably don't need to. Only if only if that person needs like if it needs to, right? Like so we're saying, right, that it's unhealthy. Like I genuinely need my space and I can't. Would you? For me, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like what you said, I don't think there's anything wrong with like, hey, you know what? I actually just need some space to start off with,
Yeah. I don't think
so I
there's
can get my
anything
emotions
wrong
right.
as well. But on my take, because I value friendship as well. Like
Mm,
friends is very important to me.
yeah.
But if I know that the person is not able to help himself, I know it's the person's responsibility,
Mm,
definitely, like
mm.
no doubt. But I will go on to a step further to say that I might have to just cut myself off.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I like. I mean, I said that I did that, and I would do that.
Yeah.
As in, like, it's a case by case basis, and I think
Yeah.
it's dependent on what you feel. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's good to make it clear that it's not your responsibility to do that, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
something that you do.
totally. For
Yeah.
yeah, but at the end of the day, like if I
Mm.
see that it's very toxic and it's ruining my life as well,
If it is
just
100%.
because it's uncomfortable, like
Yeah.
walking around with the person,
Exactly.
knowing that there's someone that likes you,
It's
and
painful.
Yeah.
yeah, it's painful and it's hard. Like if you put it on your own perspective, like
Mm.
you have to be so careful of the things that you do. Although
Yeah.
you can say that, yeah, we are still friends, it's platonic, but like even like a gentle tap on the shoulder might send a different hint to the person.
Yeah, I think that's really important to clarify because you're absolutely right. I mean, I think when it starts to impact your life, then you have to kind of make a call. When it starts to impact you, yeah, you have to kind of make a call about, what you want to do because then you should step away if you think it's affecting you. And that's something different. And I also think it's different, if like that person, if you were treating each other, in a real in an intimate way that you perhaps that is maybe a bit too physical touch or something like that, and it's you'll have to change things, or I'd want to change things, but if you don't change those things, you go, oh, but this is what we did before. Like that starts to get a little bit iffy because you know that they'll reciprocate maybe like a hug or like a cuddle on a couch
Yep.
just because they like you and you enjoy the comfort that brings, even though you might not have anything romantic attached to it. That kind of stuff that can be I think that goes into an entirely different gray zone.
Yeah,
Where you think you
that
have
would
to
be what I
really
say. It would be
aware.
like enabling.
Yeah,
Just like,
I agree.
when you're friends, like I guess we did not point it like deeply enough just now because it's just friends, right? But sometimes when you're close friends, you do a lot of stuff like
Yeah.
wrap
I'm
around
the
the
same.
shoulder,
Yeah.
and hug
I'm
around.
very
Yeah.
physical touchy.
Yeah.
So I think that like this is a big thing for me. And I think that lingers more in this enabling zone
Yeah.
when you kind of just initiate all these hugs and cuddles and that kind of stuff. When you're just like, well, they have feelings to you now. And now you're just doing that. And you know that they will give you that, even though you have no feelings attached to that. And I think that comes over to that like that kind of, taking advantage kind of area. And that can be dangerous for people.
Simp zone. Anyway, guys, I've got to run.
Oh.
I've got my brother's birthday dinner.
Oh,
All right.
damn.
You guys can
Yeah,
continue
happy birthday, Gavin.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Happy
sorry
birthday,
to
Gavin.
nah, I'm not sorry, man. Because you just ruined like amazing podcast by like having
Hey, you
Gil's
didn't
bill.
ruin it. It just means we're going to have to do part 3.
Oh yeah.
Part 3.
But
I
yeah.
reckon you could do a whole podcast.
Oh,
just
we
on the friend
opened
zone.
another can of worms today. Like first
great
episode, we
conversation.
talk about the very surface of friend zone. Not very surface, like the conquest kind of friend zone.
Conquest mentality.
Yeah.
Conquest
and today,
mentality.
And today we talk about.
We talked to just a genuine friendship mentality.
Yeah. Oh, that's more to talk about, man.
Wow. Well,
Wow.
if from the conquest mentality, right? This diagram. Have
Oh
a
my
look at
gosh.
it. Have a look at
They
it.
still want to sell the diagram. Okay, fine. I'll post it up.
Post the diagram. Have a look at it, right?
Yeah.
But I can explain it a bit later. But I've got to run. It's been great, Kanan. Honestly,
Also,
appreciate your input into this subject.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Great conversation. You will be on the show again.
Yeah.
That's my vote.
The regular.
Yeah.
She comes.
Come on. For
All
everyone
right.
out there, we hope you had some dang good advice. I hope it was insightful and another can of worms that we can open up.
Yep,
Stay tuned for
another can.
episode 8.
Episode 8. Friends on part 3.
Part 3. Oh,
Maybe.
maybe we'll come back to it.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back to it after some other topics that we have in mind.
Hey, come on.
Hey.
All right. I'm out.
All right.
Ciao.
Cheers.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.